I graduated from high school 50 years ago, and pleasant to go to my high school reunion back in Pennsylvania to find out that at least two of my classmates were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. I thought, wow, what a really one. One of them told me, though, that they had a son who was 51. But anyway, it was beautiful to see that. And it was great to see how many of my classmates aren't celebrating quite 50, but 40, 45, so forth. And then others who are struggling with divorces, other experiences in their own families, some of them, you know, with children who had major issues to deal with and so forth. And yet, they still have that ability to lean on each other, to realize that marriage is more than just a contract that is what is good for me. You know, a provider instead of a husband, or a homemaker instead of a wife. This marriage, what a beautiful thing when we start to realize that it is indeed two human beings with full will and knowledge and intelligence, and to actually want to help that other person. This is just such a beautiful experience, and it's such an important lesson to teach the world today. The world is coming up with unbelievable ideas that one relationship is just as good as the next, and that true marriage shouldn't have any privilege over the other alternative relationships, companionship and such. But we know, and that God really intended that the world grow on families, on the notion of family, that right from the start, Adam and Eve, their two sons, and then more sons and daughters after that. But again, right from the beginning, families found major challenges. Could you imagine Adam and Eve? They have two sons and one kills the other. What a horrible experience and a major challenge that they must have felt between the two of them. And then the Bible recounts one after another major challenge. And yet, even after all that, Jesus would say that this is what it was intended from the start. And regardless of the apparent failures of marriages, that we need to teach the truth about marriage. And we need to continue to assist married people. And so your celebrating your anniversaries is an important part of our year, our parochial year. We have boys camp and girls camp in the summer for children and teenagers, and we have various activities in the parishes. And your celebrating here is more than just for you. It's for the world. It's for society. It's for our church to realize the beauty and the possibility of marriage. And so we thank you for coming and celebrating with us and allowing your celebration to be a part of our message to the world. The Muslim terrorists would have us believe that the only possible way for peace in the world is to subject ourselves to their terrorism. Because they're not going away, and there's going to be fighting and conflict in the world as long as they have a breath in their lungs. And yet we know that the only real answer to the future of the world is the Christian message. The Christian message that indeed includes the Christian teaching of marriage. And so we're going to hold fast to that. The bishops met in a group of bishops, quite a group, 300 I think about, met in Rome with the Holy Father in synod to talk about marriage. The last 3 weeks. They just broke up. I think they had a closing liturgy today. But there were thoughts, well, you know, some people are really struggling, and how can we help them? How can we maybe ease the difficulty or the challenge that they're going through? And maybe we can change the definition of marriage. Or perhaps we can pretend that Jesus didn't say this or that. And I understand, I haven't seen the final documents, but basically they said, you know, we'll do anything we can to help those who are struggling in their marriages. But you just can't change the truth. What is right, and what is wrong. And if we have failed, just like any other failure, we're able to go back to the Lord and ask for forgiveness. And we're able to go and say to ourselves, I'm a sinner, and I need help from the church in my sinfulness. St. Paul says that Jesus died for us even while we were sinners. He didn't wait for us to be perfect saints. And so, individuals, well, may have fallen prey to the challenges that came their way. And yes, we have to reach out to them. We have to give them the strength that comes from the church, from union with the church, communion with the church. But there are expectations. And so we're going to have, for their good and for the good of the world, we must hold on to that truth. So again, I thank you for celebrating with us, allowing us to join in your celebration. 25 years, 50, 55, I don't remember if we have more than that, but it's a real sign that God is with us and that He wants us to be with Him. Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory to God.